2021 grade 10 AMC 10A fall questions 1 through 10. What is the value of 2112 minus 2021 all squared over 169? So 2112 minus 2021 over 169, and then the numerator is going to be 91 squared over 169, and when you crunch out these numbers, the answer is 49. So number 1 is C. Menkara has a 4x6 index card. If she shortens the length of one side of this card by 1 inch, the card would have an area 18 square inches. What would be the area of the card in square inches if instead she shortens the length of the other side by 1 inch? The card is 4x6, right? So they're saying that initially she decides to shorten one side by an inch, and the area becomes 18. So I guess she shortened this side by 1 inch, so she made it 3. So it became a 3x6, and 3x6 is 18. So that's how that happened. What they're saying is, what happens if she shortens the other side? Okay, no problem. So that means you're shortening this side. So instead of 6, you're making it 5. Well, that becomes 4 times 5, which is a 20 square inch card. And therefore, the answer to number 2 is E. What is the maximum number of balls of clay of radius 2 that can completely fit inside a cube of side length 6, assuming that the balls can be reshaped but not compressed before they are packed in the cube? Okay, so first we need to figure out the value of the volume of the cube and then the volume of each ball. Okay, so the volume of a cube, if you remember the formula, is just the side cubed. So they're telling me that the side length is 6, right? So that's 6 cubed, which is 216. Volume of a ball, well, the ball is the shape of a sphere, right? So we have to remember the area formula for a sphere, which I think is 4/3 pi r cubed. And the radius is 2, so substitute that in. And that's going to give me 8 times 4 divided by 3 times 3.14. So when I crunch out those numbers, it's about 33.5 approximately. So then how many of these fit into these? Well, you just take 216 and divide by 33.5, because they're saying that they can be reshaped because I guess they're made of clay, so that's why. And this is approximately 6.4. So the answer to this is going to be, I guess the closest answer is D for this question. Number 4, Mr. Lopez has a choice of 2 routes to get to work. Route A is 6 miles long and has an average speed along this route 30 miles per hour. Route B is 5 miles, and his average speed along this route is 40 miles per hour, except for a half a mile stretch in the school zone where his average speed is 20 miles per hour. Okay, how many minutes is Route B quicker than Route A? All right, let's figure this out. Route A, Route B. So Route A, I believe the distance is, where is it? 6. And the speed is 30. So we use our standard speed is equal to distance over time formula and any variation of that. So time would be distance over speed. And therefore this time, I guess for the Route A, would be 6 over 30, but that's in hours. So 6 over 30 is a fifth of, so a fifth of an hour is 12 minutes. Yeah, because this is in hours. Okay, let's do the same thing for B, but B is a little bit different. They're saying that the distance here is 5, but then there's an additional half mile in a school zone. And then the speeds for that first 5 miles is 40 miles per hour. But then for this half mile, it's only 20. Okay, so then we got to figure this out. So for this route, the time would be calculated as follows. First, we'd look at these numbers. So using that formula, this formula, d over s, it would be 5 over, hold on. I got to make sure that I subtract this halves. This question is, in my humble opinion, a little badly worded, because this 5 is actually 4.5. When they talk about 5 miles long, they're including this half mile. So I got to make sure I don't put 5 and put 4.5 when I calculate it with that speed. So 4.5 over 40. All right, and then this would be 0.5 over 20. So that's how you figure out the time there. So now we can do this. So this looks like it will be 4.5 over 40. And I know I'm using fractions with decimals, which is not the best way, but that's okay. Getting a common denominator is 1 over 40. So this looks like 5.5 over 40. And this is in hours. And if you convert this to minutes, it will be, I believe, 8.25 minutes. All right. So they're basically saying, how many minutes is route B quicker than route A? So you compare 8.25 to 12, and that's a difference of 3.75 minutes. So 3.75 would be choice B for number 4. The 6-digit number 20210A is prime for only one digit A. What is A? So what I'll just do is just go through the answer choices. So we have 2021001, 2021003, 2021005, 2021007, and finally 2021009. Okay, so which one of these is prime? Well, the first one, the first thing that screams out is this is immediately recognizable as divisible by 5. So that is not a prime. So we can eliminate this guy. The rest are not as obvious, but with a little bit of division, you figure out that this is divisible by 3. This is divisible by 11. And this is divisible by 3 also. So this is the only one that's not divisible by, some prime other than itself and 1. So this is a prime number. So therefore, the answer to number 5 is E. Elmer the emu takes 44 equal strides to walk between consecutive telephone poles on a rural road. Oscar the ostrich can cover the same distance in 12 equal leaps. The telephone poles are evenly spaced, and the 41st pole along this road is exactly 1 mile, 5280 feet from the first pole. How much longer in feet is Oscar's leap than Elmer's stride? Well, we've got the first pole, second pole, and so on, right? ... all the way till the 41st pole. So that means there are 40 of these, segments, right? So they're saying that the 41st pole is 52 feet from the first. So this whole distance from the first pole here to the 41st pole is 5280. Now, to get the distance from one pole to the next, since they're equally spaced, we just have to take 5280 and divide by 40. Because there's 40 of those spaces. There's 41 poles, but 40 spaces. So this is a nice whole number, 132. Okay, so that's a good indication that we're in the right direction here. Now we got to figure out how much is the distance for Elmer's strides and Oscar's leaps. So for Elmer, he covers 132 in 44 strides. So that gives me 3. 3, what is the unit here? Well, we're using feet, so 3 feet. And then the other guy, who's Oscar, he is covering the 132 in 12 leaps. So 132 divided by 12 is 11. So 11 feet. So how much longer is Oscar's leap than Elmer's stride? Well, 11 compared to 3 is a difference of 8. So number 6, the answer is B. As shown in the figure below, point E lies on the opposite half plane determined by line CD from point A, so that angle CD is 110. Point F lies on AD, so that DE is equal to DF. ABCD is a square. What is the degree measure of angle AFE? Well, let's see here. DE is equal to DF, so this is equal to that. So that's an isosceles triangle. So that means this angle is going to be the same as that angle. This is 110. This is 90 since it's a square. So this angle I can call theta. And if you look at that entire region, theta plus 90 plus 110 will be equal to 360. And when you solve for theta, you get 160. So then going back to this triangle here, if you look at the three angles in that triangle are x, x, and 160, and that equals 180. So that means 2x is equal to 20, x is 10. There we go. So this x is equal to 10. And then the last thing I need to figure out is that angle, which is AFE. Angle AFE is going to be 180 minus x. And that means it's 180 minus 10, which is 170. And therefore, the answer to this number 7 is D. A two-digit positive integer is said to be cuddly if it is equal to the sum of its non-zero tens digit and the square of its units digit. How many two-digit positive integers are cuddly? The integer, it's 2 digits, so I'll just call it AB. And they're saying that when you take the value of this, so the value would be 10A plus B, right? Because let's say if a number is 54, its value is not 5 plus 4, right? Its value is 5 times 10 plus 4. So that's why you get 10A plus B. And they're saying that is equal to the sum of its non-zero tens digit. So in this case, it would be A plus the square of its units digit. So A plus B squared. So that's the formula. Okay, so now let's work with this formula. This is 9A is equal to B squared minus B. And then we can factor out a B and see if we can work with this. So this side looks like two consecutive numbers. So that means this has to be two consecutive numbers. So it could be 9 and 10, but not really, right? Because 10 is not a digit. Okay, if it can't be 9 and 10, how about 8 and 9? Where this guy is 8 and this is 9. So I think that will work. So that means this has to be 9 and this has to be 8. So this, going back, is going to be 8, and then B is 9, so 89. And that is the only one that fits the criteria of the question, and therefore we only have one number that's cuddly, and number 8, therefore the answer is B. When a certain unfair die is rolled, an even number is 3 times as likely to appear as an odd number. The die is rolled twice. What is the probability that the sum of the numbers rolled is even? Okay. All right, so again, a question that, in my opinion, is badly worded because it just says die. Is it the standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 type of die? I guess. They don't really tell me. But they do tell me that an even number is 3 times as likely. So these even numbers, it's kind of like they appear 3 times. Not really, but you can kind of think of it that way. Okay, so now let's go to what they're asking. What is the probability that the sum of the rolls are even? So you're rolling twice, right? Okay. So 2 numbers added together are even if they're both evens, because even plus even is equal to an even. However, if you have an even plus an odd, that equals an odd. So this is a scenario we don't want. Odd plus an even, that also equals odd. And odd plus an odd, that does equal an even. So what we want is this scenario in this scenario. Okay, shouldn't be that hard. First number, even. 3, 6, 12. 12. Oh, sorry. I can't add. 3, 6, 9. 9 out of the total, which is 12. So we have a 9 out of 12 chance of getting an even number based on the question's rules, I guess. And then we want another one even, so another 9 out of 12. And then, of course, you multiply these. And that becomes 81 over 144. Okay. And then this scenario, odd and odd, we have 1, 2, 3, a 3 out of 12 chance of getting an odd number. And then for the second one, another 3 out of 12, and you multiply them. So that's 9 out of 144. So the total probability, you have to add this plus that. So that looks like 90 out of 144. That's the probability. That's the answer. And then, of course, you got to lower this to lowest terms. And when you do, it becomes 5 over 8. 5 over 8 is choice E. A school has 100 students and 5 teachers. In the first period, each student is taking one class and each teacher is teaching one class. The enrollments in the classes are 50, 20, 25, and 5. Let T be the average value obtained if a teacher is picked at random and the number of students in the class is noted. Let S be the average value obtained if a student was picked at random and the number of students in the class, including the student, is noted. What is T minus S? Okay. Well, let's calculate T, let's calculate S, and then we will figure out T minus S. Okay, so T is the average value obtained if a teacher is picked at random and the number of students in the class is noted. So if you choose the first teacher, the number of students is 50. And the probability of that happening is 1 out of 5 because there's 5 teachers. So that takes care of the first teacher. If you choose the second teacher, that teacher's class has 20. And again, the probability of that happening is 1 out of 5 since there's 5 teachers and you're choosing 1 out of those 5 teachers. Very similarly, the next one is also the same. The next class has 5 students with a probability of 1/5, and finally another 5 students with a probability of 1/5. When you crunch out these numbers, you get 20. S is a little bit different. S is defined as the average value obtained if a student was picked at random and the number of students in the class, including the student, is noted. Okay, so let's choose a student, and that student is from that first class. Well, the probability of being from that first class is 50 out of the total number of students, which is 100. And then the number of students in that class is 50. Got it? Same thing, if we choose a student from that class, the probability of being from that class is 20 out of 100, and the number of students in that class is 20. Similarly, the next one, it's pretty much exactly the same. And then the final class, the probability of being from that class is 5 out of 100. Number of students in that class is 5. And the last one is exactly the same. When you crunch out these numbers, you get 33.5. And therefore, T minus S now is 20 minus 33.5, which is negative 13.5. And therefore, the answer to number 10 is B.